Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a kind of a review, I guess, of the Spider-Man figures that we've done on this channel. And as always, if there are any other figures from Spider-Man the animated series or Spider-Man the movies you'd like to see, please leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to get them. I know there are some that a few of you have requested, and I am doing my best to get them. Sometimes they just are a little bit more than I'd like to spend, and sometimes they're just outrageous in terms of cost, but if I can get them for a good deal, I will try my best to get the figure, and I'm more than happy to unbox it and show it to somebody who would like to see it. So thank you so much for tuning into this. I know a lot of you have loved the Spider-Man figures, so we'll do a quick recap of these, go over a couple more we have on the way, and then show another figure unboxing that I'll have coming up pretty soon. So I think it's just fitting, since this is a Spider-Man video, to start with Spider-Man. This was a figure that was a web, I think it was a web shooter. There's a little plastic web piece that comes with this. I have it in a drawer where I keep this figure. I just didn't get it out for this video because I was moving a lot of things around to pull all these out. But this is one of my favorite Spider-Man figures. It's just got that classic 90s look with the bright color, the eyes, the face. Not a ton of mobility with this one. This arm just stays straight so it can shoot the web. And we got a little bit of bend here in the elbow. He turns at the waist, and then he bends at the legs. Just the classic Spider-Man figure. I love this right here on the back. We got the little trigger here for the web shooter, but we've got the spider and then all the webbing details. So if you're a fan of Spider-Man, I think this line had a couple of kind of generic, like ones with there's a web shooter, one has a parachute. It's just maybe, I don't want to say hang glider, I could be wrong, that might be a Batman figure, but they have just different ones like this where it's a generic Spider-Man and he comes with a different prop, if you will. So anybody who's a fan of Spider-Man, you want a classic figure, just check out the Toy Biz Spider-Man the Animated Series classic figures, and you should be able to find some on eBay for a pretty good price. Okay, I'll put Spider-Man down to the side, and we'll go to my favorite figure that I've unboxed from the Spider-Man series, and that would be this Venom. So great detail here, the color, kind of all the veining on the figure. I think they did a great job with his hands as far as posing the figure. The arms come up and down, they don't bend at the elbow. He doesn't rotate at the waist, but he does bend at the knee. So a little bit limited as far as articulation, but for the most part, all these old figures are. That's not really what they're about. But this mask I love because it is a rubber mask. They did a terrific job there with his face and to match that up with the body, so it does look like it's just a figure on its own. But then the really cool thing here is that you can take this mask off, and then we've got Eddie Brock underneath. So let me zoom in on his face. Bright blonde hair, angry face. He's chasing down Spider-Man, and then we can just pop the mask right back on. I usually just leave it on most of the time. I think it's a lot cooler to display this way, but if you want to show off Eddie Brock's face, you do have that option. So an awesome figure. I've looked at the one with the chomping jaws. I don't know if any of you guys have it. If you do, let me know how you like the figure and if you recommend I get it or not. I've had my eye on it for a while, but just kind of haven't pulled the trigger. So let me know if you recommend the jaw chomping one, and maybe we can do a comparison if there really is much of a difference between the two figures. So we'll set this Venom down to the side. Now let's go ahead and go through the older Toy Biz ones before we go on to some of the newer ones. Let's go ahead and look at Carnage next. This guy looks, I think, absolutely perfect when you think of some of the old video games or the old show. They've got this sinister look on his face. All the teeth are perfectly painted. A great detail there. The eyes, the bright red color with the black swirls kind of going all around. They did a terrific job with this. And this one came with a few extensions you can put on as well. I didn't pull out all the little pieces for the figures. It's more about just showing you what the figure looks like. But if you're a Carnage fan, I highly recommend this. And it's really cool to display this on a shelf next to Venom and next to Spider-Man. So we'll put Carnage off on the side. And then I do have all of these videos. If you click on the channel name and you go to videos or you go to playlist, they should all be under the Spider-Man playlist. If for some reason you don't see one of these in the Spider-Man playlist, I probably forgot to put it there specifically, so just go to the videos and you'll be able to find them in the list. I'm pretty sure they're all in there, but if you find that one isn't, just leave me a comment down below so I can make the update and then make it easier for you guys. We got the Chameleon here. This may have been the second figure that we unboxed here from the Spider-Man series, maybe the third after Venom, but I love this one. I love the bright purple. He comes with a couple different heads, so you can take this one off and it came with a Spider-Man head, a Venom head, and a Jonah Jameson head. So really neat feature there. Obviously they can't change out the entire body, but just being able to change the face is a really neat feature. And for a Chameleon figure, you've got to have something like that as a representation. So I thought his face looked really cool here. Great detail, great bright color. I mean, this just screams the 90s cartoon to me. So really happy to get this one. Muscle detail in the back. They did a great job with the paint, and he comes with a little gun you can put in his hand. So just kind of always left that in there. We'll put him off on the side, and then let's go through the other one from the Toy Biz series. We got this bright green Goblin. Again, looks just like the one from the show. He came with a pumpkin that doesn't really fit in his hand, and then you kind of point his finger, and you can put him on his little glider, which again, I didn't bring those out, but you can just lock his feet into that. He's got his little pouch here, and a really cool figure. Again, the bright color on this one, just like Chameleon, just like the Carnage and the Spider-Man. It just screams 90s Spider-Man, and it's very nostalgic for me. I grew up watching these before going out to the school bus to go to middle school every day. So a lot of memories here, very nostalgic. And if you guys loved the show growing up, I highly recommend looking for these figures. Now, some sellers I think overcharge for them, and then sometimes you can find them from, I'd say 25 to maybe 40 bucks, just depending on what you're willing to spend. You do have some options, and I recommend checking at least every other day. That's usually how I find my deals. Somebody will come out with something new. They'll just post the figure, put a pretty low price, and then if they give you a best offer option, if it's 30 bucks, you can offer 25, and usually they'll accept something like that. Just try to be reasonable with those offers because it gives you the best chance to get the figure that you want. And again, I think all of these should be in the Spider-Man playlist. So if you enjoy the figure, if you think it looks cool, definitely check out the unboxing. We cover all the details as far as the packaging and the accessories that come with the figures. So this was the first one we did that wasn't from the cartoon, but was actually from Spider-Man 2, the movie with Dr. Octopus. And this one came with a kind of contraption in the back that had the Dr. Octopus, I guess, claws or arms. And there was a little bit of a timer on there, and when the timer went off, the claws would close in, but the Spider-Man would jump off the wall. This is one of my most viewed videos. Got a ton of comment interaction on it, so if you guys want to see what that whole contraption does, it's all shown in the video. It's a little bit longer, maybe I'd say 15 to 18 minutes, but if you think this figure is cool and you like to see everything that the piece that comes with it does, check that video out. I might go ahead and just put that link in the description to make it easier for you to find. But great color on this, kind of that navy blue with all the little dots, phenomenal detailing, the beautiful bright red. Again, looks like you just pulled him right out of the movie. Love the black spider there on the front, got the red spider on the back. Pretty good articulation with this one because he's kind of meant to essentially sit back on the wall like this, and then that piece goes into his back. So really cool figure. And I had a viewer ask me, I forget the name, but there was one who specifically requested figures from Spider-Man 2, and I'm really glad you did because this is one of my favorites. So you guys always recommend figures or you ask for ones that I may not even be familiar with. I'm really happy when I do end up getting them, so really appreciate that. We'll go ahead and do Electro next. I love this figure, really bright yellow, bright green. We've got these. So I think this is actually one of the hand options. You can put just a normal kind of like hand or fist or something on there, but I left this one on here with kind of the electricity coming out of his hands. You can see the bolts there. A lot more articulation with this one. I think this was the new line that they released from basically to be from the animated series, but just completely updated as far as colors and articulation. Love the details here as far as the bolts going down the side of his leg and on his back. Just a really cool figure. If you're a fan of Electro, I believe it's cheaper to get this one than it is to buy the old Toy Biz 90s one. The ones I've seen on eBay, people have just been asking for a little too much, I'd say. This one probably runs you $28 to maybe $38. And again, this is just kind of rough pricing from what I've seen. Some of this may be higher, maybe lower. So just don't take my word for me saying, hey, it's maybe 30 bucks and expect it to be 30. That's how it was when I got it probably almost a year ago. So just do your own research, and I wish you all the best of luck with the deals. I've been very lucky on eBay many times. and so that's how I've been able to come across a lot of these figures. Just see, I think I showed the back here. We'll go ahead and set this guy down. And then just to add to that, I know I mentioned eBay a lot, but I have had a few of you ask me in the comments where I get these figures. I think everything I've unboxed on the channel here, I've either gotten off of eBay or I got it growing up and it's just kind of been in my collection. And I try to mention that when I do show those figures, just so you guys know. So this Green Goblin looks... So just real quick, before we get into positives, one thing I always thought was off, I thought they painted his eyes off just a little bit. May not look like it there, but when I turn them here a little bit, it looks like that one's just maybe a little bit higher than this one. And so if I stare at his face too long, it just looks a little bit off to me. But compared to the old 90s figure, this is definitely very impressive, and you can tell it's a much larger figure. All the details are there, a lot more articulation with his hands. This little bag moves around. I think you can take it off of him. Even this little scarf on his neck moves around. You know, the hat looks much better. Everything about this figure is just a huge improvement to this one. Again, very nostalgic, very classic. But if you want that nostalgic feel, I think this figure still gives you that, because it's just an updated version of what that classic character looked like. So a ton of articulation here, and he also comes with a glider you can put him on. So you kind of bend his legs, put him on the glider, and then he can hold the pumpkin bomb. It's a really cool way to display the figure, probably next to the Spider-Man. So hope you guys enjoyed seeing these figures again. And before we wrap the video up, I'm just gonna show something real quick. I did a set of these. I did a Venom one, I believe a Doc Ock one. This is Spider-Man and Smythe, so we've got kind of a metal Spider-Man. They are opposable action web of steel, so they're die-cast metal figures. I will do an unboxing of this one. It's the only one of the set I haven't done from what I own, so I don't have the Vulture one, I don't have the Lizard, I don't have the Kingpin, but we did the Dr. Octopus and the Venom one. So look out for this video sometime soon. I've had this figure for some time, but I've just never done the unboxing. And we have the Prowler. So really cool figure from the classic Amazing Spider-Man comic, and also from the show. So great colors here. Comes with a pin and a few other accessories. We'll go into all that whenever we unbox the figure. And then here's just kind of a close-up of some of the ones that are available. So we've done the Chameleon, and then there are those 3 heads I mentioned he comes with. There's a web glider Spider-Man. We've done this Venom with the mask, and we've done this Green Goblin. So if there are any of these other ones you guys would like to see, I've had my eye on Mysterio for a while, but he has been pretty pricey. The Shocker's cool, and Scorpion and Rhino are really neat. If there's any of these that you'd like to see, just leave a comment down below and let me know. So thank you so much for tuning in. And just also real quick before we finish up, I've done some Inuyasha figures on the channel as well. And for those of you who stuck to the end of the video, I was able to get my hands on a Kikyo figure. So look out for this. I will do an unboxing review of this, and then show the whole collection again, since I've added a few figures to it, and then also review some Inuyasha books that I got. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.